Trying to set up the right angle here. Sorry I had to cancel that other one, but hopefully you can find this. I'm sure you can. And if you want to, you can catch it later on in the chat. We're going to document another tub today, right now. See if we can document this one here. We got everything set up to take it outside. Alrighty, we are here. Hey KG, want to be my sound and audio guy? Can you see a screen and can you hear my voice? Let me know, man. Thinking about you all the time, by the way. Thanks, man. We're just about a minute to start. Had to cancel the other one here. I want to try to get the sun out of the shade. I had to change my Wi-Fi. I'm going to cellular, not using the Wi-Fi. And we're going to do this shade tub if we can. Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming for another pop-up here while we're doing our early August clean out. I like to do this in early August so I can enjoy the rest of the summer. I generally stop fertilizing in September, so doing it now will get me some good blooms for the rest of the month. This is a shade tub. It only gets 3 hours of full sun, maybe 2.5 hours of full sun. So you'll notice there's a few plants growing here that work in the shade. Let's go through them. This here is called royal fern. This is a native plant. Absolutely love this plant. It's an aquatic fern, although you can get it in some better garden centers. And it's my favorite of the ferns. It does not do well with any sun, but it loves the shade. Of course, water hyacinth grows in the shade. Don't ask me why. You put it in your aquarium over winter with bright light and it dies. But it likes the heat. This water lily is one of the few that will grow with just a few hours of sun. 2.5 hours of full sun, and I'll get probably a couple of times a month of flower from Attraction. Attraction is an old Marliac hybrid. Um, it's an odorata rhizome, which means it really expands in the pot. You've got to prune it out, which is why it's bolting now. But if you prune out the divisions, you can just pull them out with your hand. You can keep it like in a tub. But I just have it here in my collection because it's a shady tub and I know I can get at least a couple of flowers out of it. Um, there's Gelius Barbs in here. So why are there Gelius Barbs in this tub? There's Gelius Barbs in this tub because they like it cool. So the shade and the thermocline with the 70-gallon Rubbermaid stock tank, which is they don't make this one anymore, gives me it cool enough. So we're just going to tear it down and give it a little fertilizer, see what's going on here. And I'll say hello to people on the stream if I can. KJE helping me out as my sound guy. Thank you. Hello, Joe. And KGE are here. About 4 people on the thing lurking. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, if you want to subscribe, I do a lot of videos and shorts and also lives. And it's all related to my book, The Tub Pond Handbook, available on Amazon.com. About 33 members away from 1,000. I don't know what that does on YouTube. I'm not looking to monetize. Some things happen and I'm curious. So this channel was started this year as part of my book, as a companion for the book, The Tub Pond Handbook, which is 200 color photos, 150 or 120 pages, with a plant glossary and a fish glossary on everything you need to know about doing a tub pond right, and the aquarium fish you can put out in their true temperatures, and plant recommendations tested by me over the past 25 years. But if you subscribe to this channel, that's just an extra thank you from me. So we're going to start looking at this here, looking at a few of the things. We're going to start tearing it down a bit, and then I want to show everyone the brine shrimp tub, the outdoor brine shrimp tub, the lowest maintenance live food I have ever done, because I don't do anything and it just keeps producing. So we'll see if we can show that later as well. So here we go. Look at a few things here. I'm going to take the water hyacinth. Maybe it has eggs on it. I'm going to put that down on the ground quickly. This will be a quick one, guys. And you'll notice what you find with tub ponds, if they're in the shade, the foliage grows taller. You're like, why is that? Some foliage of plants grows taller. Pickerel does this, and water hyacinth does this. Pickerel and water hyacinth are in the same family. Notice they both have roots that look exactly the same, dark roots. Their flowers are similar too. You wouldn't think they're in the same family, but they are, and they will grow tall in shady conditions, trying to reach the light. So that's a kind of weird behavior. Most plants you grow in the shade get a little stunted. So we're gonna get out the fern. We don't really need to fertilize this, frankly, but I love it so much. Pain in the butt to divide. We're gonna give it a little. Gonna get the dibber that we always use. This is a really tight rhizome. Dividing this, I have to get a saw, and I have to pop this out. It pops out of the pot easily. You know, ferns don't have very deep root systems, but you really have to saw this sucker in half. I use a farmer's knife, which, if you know what that is, it's a very blunt, thick instrument. And I use that to cut a lot of my stuff in half, from irises to cattails to the ferns. I'm going to put a little safety zorb in there to cover the hole. Okay, and put this guy off to the side. I have another shade plant in here in a tiny pot. This is red stem lizard tail. So this is an American native plant. This is the red stem variety, which I like a lot better. And keep it with keep it in a nutrient-rich pot with soil like Stephen P does, and it will flower. And I'm using it mostly as, again, as a filter. I'm trying to do filters in here, right? Um, because I don't put in any mechanical filtration. And I find that when you do shady tubs, you should put even more plants because they're going to grow slower, which means they're going to take up dissolved organic compounds and nitrogenous waste slower. So you want to maximize that. Okay, now for the fun part. Yeah, a little few aphids came on here. I drowned them. Let's just prune away some leaves that are yellowed. Let's see what's going on here. All right, gonna get nice and cool. It gets colder as I get to the bottom with the thermocline. And there you go. 1, 2, 3 plants in here now. That started with 1. I'm just gonna leave them because I want the flowers. I don't want to shock it this late in the season. I'm gonna divide it in the spring or maybe even in the fall when I put it away. Sometimes you can take a water lily, put it in a fish bag with peat moss, store it in a cool place, and then in the springtime you'll see it sprouting. And then you can plant it or bring it to auction. This is on top of a piece of driftwood to get the water, some tannins, some botan in there to help the fish spawn, and milk crate. Now, what else is in here? Because this is a shade tub, this is where I can grow anubias. So you see the anubias tied to a piece of slate. They're fine in here. This tub, as I said, gets about 2.5, 3 hours of sun, maybe 2.5 hours of full sun tops. The anubias are great. If I put anubias out in another tub, they are not happy. But these look very happy. These are all barterized. I think the one I just pulled out was a Nana. Okay, a little bit of narrow leaf Java fern. Again, very happy. Very happy looking. And this is all for the eggs to kind of, for the parents to dive into to spawn. So, be right back. Okay, let's see what's going on now. Here we go. Into the shade tub. If you came on late, hello everyone. We're looking through a shade tub that only gets 2.5 hours of full sun in the morning. That's it. It's shaded at other times. So it has a different selection of plants and fish. It's going to be cooler. It's a 70-gallon stock tank. It's going to be cooler at the bottom. So I like to keep cool fish in a situation like this. Let's pull out the fish. Okay, we're back. And we're going to see if we can do some dip netting here. Let's do a dip net. The, of course, Laguna Pond net, which you're all sick of hearing about. So one thing here, this is a specimen cup by Lee's. This is the more expensive version. They sell them at Pet Mountain, I believe, or Pet Goods Online. I think it's Pet Mountain. It's more virgin plastic, and you notice it's not really brittle. They cost about twice as much, but they'll never crack on you. And I got one when they were on sale, and I'm glad I did. So. And you're going to see the beauty of the Laguna Pond net now, how fast it goes through a tub because of its low drag. Hagen should give me... All right, I have a tadpole. You want to see the tadpole? Can you see the tadpole in there? He's going to get relocated. I don't want him competing for food with my other fish. So let's put him in the bucket over here. Some botanicals I put in here. Catappa leaf. And here's the Gelius Barbs. I got 2 of them in there. No fry though. A little disappointing. But and no algae. So because it's in a shade tub, these shade tubs are great. They don't get the hair algae and other things. Oh, some more Anubias on a rock. That's gonna go in. Another Catappa leaf. Another Gelius Barb. I got these at Wet Spot too. Steve Lundblad owns Wet Spot. He's a long-time hobbyist, fellow of the ACA, and has been doing this for decades in terms of selling and shipping fish. I don't understand why some people will go to a new person sometimes when you have an established vendor whose prices are really good. But okay, just mucking here, which I'm actually going to leave this in the tub as sort of detritus for the fry. These guys, Gelius Barbs, like it really cool, and I'm hoping I get some spawn from them. They're all still in here. I didn't lose a single one. I have, what I like about Wet Spot, I say, give me pairs, and they pick out pairs for me if you call them on the phone and you ask. And they're very nice. No fry yet. I'm going to wait for when it gets cooler. Let's see if we can get a close-up on the Gelius Barbs. There they are. These are a dwarf barb. They're a dwarf barb. Okay, come on guys, don't be fried. Show yourself off. They're a dwarf barb. They're kind of shy. Wow. Okay, I'm looking at them in the shine here, and what I see with the great is the males are red, which you don't get in the aquarium. It's one of the beauties of putting the fish outdoors. So, yeah, they're very healthy looking, very happy. I see a gravid female. They love it out here. This is their natural state. Please don't bring me inside it in the aquarium, please. That's a fake place to be. So, what we're going to do now is put things back. I didn't see any dragonfly larvae in here. They generally like it sunnier, so I'm putting the milk crate down first. This is a kidney-shaped pond basket. These are handy. These kidney-shaped pond baskets, you can turn them over and you can put three plants on top. You cut a hole in the middle to let the fish through. And we're going to put our marginals back up. This is royal fern. This is a native shade plant, aquatic fern native to the United States. One of my favorite plants, but can only really can do well in the shade. In the sun, it gets angry at me. And it says, I'm going to look shitty for you, because you put me in a place that I don't want to be. All right, so there we go. We have the lizard tail. Let me just get this positioned on top of the milk crate. So that's one way you can raise them up in your stock tanks. You can use bricks too. Bricks will displace. The crate does not displace a lot. We're just going to quickly fertilize this water lily, putting the water lily tablets along the side of the pot, away from the crown. You don't want to burn the crown or weaken the plant. You can over fertilize. You know, I was thinking Mike Giles, who was the water lily guru until he stopped out in Tennessee, was very firm that you can over fertilize your water lilies. You put so much fertilizer in there, it burns them a bit, and instead of flowering, they bolt. And he had an interesting, but I'm not going to argue with Mike Giles. He won awards for his water lilies, so he knows more than I do. He created a water lily called Sunfire. If you type in Mike Giles on YouTube, Giles, and you can see it's an amazing water lily, Sunfire. I should keep that one again. So, you notice I'm putting them around the pot in different places using the dibber. You probably can't see this one because you're off camera, but I'm just putting a third one in with a little safety zorb to fill the hole. Use sand, you can use soil. I don't use kitty litter to fill the thing because it's going to float on me. Okay, everyone's still with us. Sorry I can't check the chat too much, but hope you're still here. And we're going to cool off now by putting this down back into the drink. So here we go. When you first put a water lily in like that, you should definitely put it in slow, or it's going to pop out if you don't saturate the water in the pot enough. I'm just going to grab my razor knife. I'm going to prune some of the leaves that are bolting a bit, just for aesthetics. Usually when your water lily bolts, it means two things. It's either your tub is not deep enough, or it's crowded and you need to divide it. Doesn't mean it won't far for you, but it's late in the season, so I'm not going to bother doing this. I'll probably bring these guys inside in a box in the coldest part of my shed, of my house or garage, in November. I want to keep them out when it's cold. I want the frost to hit them. They need to signal themselves to move the nutrients down from the leaf into their tuber. They don't, which is why you don't fertilize late in the season. If you don't do that, sometimes they don't make it over the winter. So you want to do what nature intended for these guys to do. You know, when we're in the home aquarium, we are Mother Nature, right? We control the light, we control the heat, we control the water flow, we control when they're fed, we control when it rains. We are in a laboratory control condition. When you're in a tub pond, you are not in control. Mother Nature's in control, and she can be fickle, but you know what? Your fish have evolved to work with Mother Nature, not with you. And it's why our fish do better outside than inside. So there we go. This one is done. I'm going to add a little bit of EcoFix. This is the sludge bacteria enzymes. I got this one's made by API. Like I said, I like API. They're not owned by Wall Street. They're a privately owned company, the Mars Company. And they test their stuff in Waltham, England, in an aquatic laboratory there, and in Chalfont, PA. So when I use stuff like that, Seachem makes one too called Pristine. Um, too. My tubs don't have the same smell. The other one is Microblift. They're an old company. They've been doing bacteria for decades, since the 70s. They use them for the sewage treatment, and they have an aquarium line. They're down in Miami. So that's in there. I don't need any algae fix. I am going to put, just because I really want these guys to breed, I don't want dragonfly larvae to get them. I am going to put a dose of Microblift lice and anchorworm control. It's a chitin inhibitor. It doesn't affect the fish. And people have asked me, doesn't your Daphnia population go down? My answer is no. I have not found my freshwater plankton population to be noticeably affected by it. Because I net the fish, I'm going to add some cordon fish protector. This used to be called Poly Aqua. It's an old product. It's the old Novaqua without the chlorine remover. So it's the electrolytes, it's the heavy metal remover, it's the slime coat protection. It's used for shipping fish. It's an old product. Don't know if it's necessary, but I don't want to lose the fish. And I'm going to add a little water to this. These do not evaporate in the heat like my tubs in the sun. It's amazing. Also because I think of the depth. I'm just going to check the KH on this puppy to know whether I'm going to fill with rainwater from my rain barrels, or my harder tap water, or my unneutralized well, which is also soft and acidic. So let's see what we got here. 1 drop. KH of 1. KH of 2. KH of 3. So because it's greater than 2, I'm going to add rainwater. I only probably need about 2 gallons or even 1 gallon in this tub. And it'll still be buffered. Softer might be better for these barbs. So, with the time remaining, I might try to answer some questions, but let's go look at the brine shrimp. You get a twofer today. How's that? Let's see how much my phone can take it in the heat. Here is the brine shrimp tub. It's down there. Can you guys see it? Okay, we're going to try to put out some brine shrimp. You see if you can see the brine shrimp in there. You can see them swimming around. You can see them swimming around there, right? Those are the adults. Some have the babies on their abdomens. Oh God, there's thousands in here. This is an easy tub to do. When I mean easy, I mean easy. Hold on a second. Okay. These little sieve nets from Amazon are like 10 for $10. They're really a fine net. And I just go through the tub like this with some of these. This will get the nauplii, the smaller ones. This will get the larger ones. It's a standard brine shrimp net. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's go back, because we're going to use these to feed the Gelius Barbs. I can get back in the shade here. And I'll show you what it looks like. So, let's look at all the brine shrimp from the brine shrimp tub. Add water with your mix, salt, baking soda, and Epsom salts, unscented, magnesium. Put in your eggs in the spring and have a nice day. I don't feed them. I do feed them once in a while. If I remember, I'll put some crushed flake food in there when I'm feeding the other fish. They're in full sun, and it's really hot, and they're eating the algae that grows in there. And I harvest a little bit every day. You see them in there, so swimming around. We're going to feed the Gelius Barbs now. If I want more shrimp, I could add more eggs if I see the population's down, but I'm not changing the water. And unlike a brine shrimp hatchery at your home, it doesn't smell. The power of the sun, folks. So we're going to feed these guys here, and what's remaining, there we go. We're now going to put this stuff back in, which is going to be hopefully their spawning areas. A little bit of the fine leaf Java fern at the bottom. This is a shade tub, so Anubias, Nana, Bulbitis, all does well. They love it here. I can't use those in the sun. I'm using these to hold down a lot of my plants now. These are these ceramic plant anchors. They're just ceramic tubes. You can get them on Amazon, different sizes. They're handy. You just drop them right in and they sink right to the bottom. More plants, 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 and more plants. Make sure they're at the bottom. That's where you want them. You want them at the bottom. Let's see. And there's an empty spot. Okay. We're also going to put that piece of driftwood in here. I think I'm going to add a mop to the bottom here too. Go inside, get a mop, weigh it down with a little stone, and put it at the bottom of the tub as well. I think I'm going to do that once we're done. The shade tub, ladies and gentlemen, 70-gallon Rubbermaid shade tub, only gets 2.5 hours of sun. Attraction waterlily, which will bloom in the shade. Royal fern, American lizardtail redstem sororis, water hyacinth, which, like pickerel, will grow high when it's in the shade. And those are very long roots that extend down to the bottom to spawn with, and Gelius Barbs. So there we go, fed with some brine shrimp. Please like and subscribe if you can. And I'll catch you on one of the other streams coming up. Skipper has an auction coming tonight, Skipper's Aquarium. And I would definitely check that out too. And be part of the Fish Fam community. And be nice to everyone, okay? Take care, everybody. We're out of here.